The best revenge story. It was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. But just 3 weeks after our wedding, I walked into our apartment and found it completely empty. All of his clothes were gone. On the kitchen counter, there was a single note from my brand new husband, Thomas. It read, "I'm sorry, Sarah. I've met someone else. She can give me the life and the future that you never will." I soon found out that this someone else was the daughter of a massive real estate tycoon. Thomas hadn't just left me for another woman. He had left me for money. He traded our vows, our love, and our future for a shortcut to a luxury life in a mansion he didn't earn. I was completely devastated. For days, I couldn't even get off the floor. I felt worthless, discarded, and deeply humiliated. But after a week of crying, something inside me snapped. The sadness turned into a cold, sharp focus. I realized that crying wouldn't change my bank account, and it definitely wouldn't fix my broken heart. I decided right then that I wasn't going to be the victim. I was going to build an empire. With the last of my savings and working 80 hours a week, I started my own digital marketing and tech agency. While Thomas was sipping champagne on private yachts funded by his new girlfriend's father, I was living on coffee and instant noodles, sleeping 4 hours a night. Every single time I wanted to give up, I pictured that note on the kitchen counter. My company, Nova Digital, began to grow rapidly. We developed a unique software algorithm that helped e-commerce brands triple their sales. Suddenly, major corporations were lining up at my door. Within 3 years, I went from a broken-hearted divorcee to hiring dozens of employees and moving into a high-rise headquarters. I was making more in a single month than Thomas would see in a decade. Meanwhile, karma was working in the background. The economy took a massive downturn, and his new father-in-law's real estate empire completely collapsed into bankruptcy. Because Thomas had no skills and no money of his own, his wealthy wife immediately divorced him to find another rich man. Thomas was left with absolutely nothing. No money, no home, and a mountain of debt. 5 years after he walked out on me, I received a message from a recruitment agency. They were Wanho Pig looking to place a candidate for a low-level administrative job at my company. When I opened the resume, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Thomas. I scheduled the interview myself. When he walked into my executive office, wearing a faded, cheap suit, his jaw literally dropped. He had no idea I owned the company. He looked at my designer clothes, looked out at the beautiful city view from my window, and then looked down at his shoes in pure shame. "Sarah?" he stammered. I didn't know this was yours. I am so sorry for what I did." I looked at him calmly, took a sip of my coffee, and said, "It's okay, Thomas. You left me because you wanted an easy life with money. And look at us now. You are broke, and I own the company you are begging for a job at." I didn't hire him, not out of hatred, but because lazy opportunists don't fit into a successful business culture. Sometimes, success really is the best revenge.